Yes. Hi everyone. Today is 2nd of December, a new month, new beginning in a way. Monthly and we'll check again. So we'll start with usual lower time frame and then go higher and see BTC at detail. So right now, what we're looking at this consolidation, which is ascending in nature, right? So this was very tricky, very tricky, because when you have slow moving consolidation on the upside, like this is easy. We can figure out that this is going up. This is no way easy. But if you look at the distance, it has actually covered a lot of distance from 32K in terms of percentage. Let's measure. So this was the leg. So from here all the way here, it's 14% upside move. So the consolidation on the upside move is unusual. But this is not a breakout. This is still consolidation on the upside. A very weird move, but it is not the first time. We'll zoom out and then we'll see that this has happened in past as well. And I was trying to figure out, and yesterday I found that there is one more resistance at 39500. So this was the level that we have. So I haven't touched that. 381100 is achieved, and as we know that this particular level had given tough time, right? It wasn't easy for it to break out. Now it is broken out, but point is I found another one. So that makes this zone a heavy resistance zone. Now how do we interpretation is simple. There is no sign of weakness at this moment, but each resistance, whether it's a particular level or a zone, we call zone when there is distance between one resistance to another, but both are equally important. That's why we call zone, right? Yeah, so this range basically is very important and heavy resistance zone. Now it means that now we were looking for 38,100 to be the condition. Now we have to consider the whole range as a condition for the upside move. What I have done yesterday, that because of its unusual movement, I haven't changed this one. This remains the same, R4, right? But I want to see how it behaves within this one. Okay, so now let's look at different scenarios here, and then try to assess. So as I mentioned, there is no sign of weakness. This is ascending consolidation, which is very positive. There is no doubt about it. But each resistance is a checkpoint. And what we have been doing is we have been raising these levels. And as I mentioned last time as well, see, resistance are important, but supports are more important. Some people assume that if we are talking about resistance, we are talking about being watchful, and they misinterpret it. They misinterpret and consider resistance is a point of reversal, or resistance is going to pull back pull back in a big way. It's not like that. You cannot assume it. So what we have to do is, yes, of course it could happen, but the point is the supports level must be broken. So there are two aspects of. The one thing is when it price hits the resistance or comes nearby the resistance, we are on alert. See, when we are on alert, it doesn't mean that you jump off the train. Okay, we are on alert that there is going to be roadblock. Okay, we are on alert that it might correct from there. That's why we are on alert. Not financial advice, but very common practice. Nobody put new money on resistance. So when you know resistance, nobody put new money. New money is actually added usually on two occasions. One, when it bouncing off the support. After, so if corrects, hits the support and then starts bouncing, that's where new money is added, and the protection is right beneath the support. So that's one technique. Another technique is when the breakout happens. So let's say 3810 was a breakout level. That's where money is added, and of course with the protection below the breakout level. These are the two strategies, but nobody buys. When I say nobody means general practice, I'm talking about, again, not financial advice, but common practice, general practice is when it is near resistance, that means it's like wait and watch. Wait and watch. Nobody put new money. I'm talking, and it's not about. So when we talk about BTC, it's about BTC. We cannot generalize it unless we see the same behavior on other assets. Remember, so because different asset would be at a different stage, as we always see that one coin is pumping today or this week, next week something else, and next to next week something else. So they have a different momentum. They have own cycle. They are together only when the BTC moves in a big way, let's say 4%, 5%, that kind of movement. Then only you see collective action from. So if the BTC drops, let's say 4%, 5% or greater, then no matter what, most of the top alts or coins go down, no matter what. And as soon as BTC stabilizes, they shoot up. So this is how they behave. So what I'm saying or telling about BTC is not true for each and every coin. Remember, that's why we go through them separately. Only when, as I said, the BTC drop is big, then they're together. If BTC is making small movement, it doesn't bother most of the coins which are in momentum. So this is just a reminder, because sometimes I have seen that if I say watch out for BTC, they assume that um, it is to. So there are two misinterpretation. One is they assume that it is time to exit. I would never say that, right? And that's why I'm explaining. Resistance means no new money. That's what experienced trader do, and I have explained the reason. Because resistance is where it can retrace. So why anyone put new money where it can correct, right? So that's why. So they wait for the breakout, or as I said, if it goes down and then wait for support to hit, and then on the bounce they add money. So these are the two common strategies. Again, I'm not saying anything out of the ordinary. These are very much accepted strategy, and it depends on everyone's style. Now, so both the strategies are good. Depends on how you use it. Okay. Now, coming back to BTC price action, it is right in the middle of resistance zone. Now, I have added this one because I learned something. This was not the resistance until today. Okay, yesterday night I had to work out, because back of my mind I thought that this is very heavy resistance zone and it should bring down BTC. But then when it didn't and go up, there are two factors. One is the Powell's comment also pushed the price up, because he mentioned it is, economy. I mean, there is impact on economy because of their interest rate, which is good for Fed. It's not good for people, by the way, but it's counterintuitive. When there is impact, the job market slows down and all. That means inflation could slow down. That's the idea, because Fed doesn't mm, care about jobs and all, because their focus is inflation, because that's their responsibility. The other department, the ministries, they have other treasury, for example, or department labor department, or they deal with other aspect. The Fed's or central bank's job is to make sure there is price stability. That's why they just focus on that. Of course, they are not ignorant, but the priority wise, inflation is number one priority. So if inflation has to be controlled, whatever is necessary, they would do, and that may cause recession as well. So this is my understanding based on what I learned from some experts. So I'm just putting together here to give to get a bigger perspective here. So point is, technically speaking, this was definitely major resistance, but then I found that there's one more resistance. So I made this as a zone. So until this is broken above, I would still consider the chance of going down is still there. uh, it may not happen, I'm talking about the probability here. The probability is still there. Uh, if you ask me how much, I would stick to 60%. I would not say 90%, which is the highest probable. 90 plus is highest probability. There is no 100%, because 100% is certainty, not probability. Anything 90% is kind of highest probability range, in my opinion. So 60% is just a number indicating it is little more than 50%. That's the number. So there is no, again, rocket science about it. It can be 65 or 55. But point is, 60 is just an indicative that I am still little inclined toward uh, a correction here. Now, having said that, it's not that I want it. It's not that I'm not bullish, or I'm thinking about. So you have to think about, when I say correction, correction is not reversal. Okay. When the correction is very deep, like for example, in month of August, September, when we had correction, it was very deep from 32K to 26K. You know that, right? 32,000 to 26,000. But it was not deep enough, which would reverse the trajectory or the recovery path. So this is to be understood. So when I talk about correction, it can be 5%, 10%, 15%, but it not necessarily it will change anything, and from a big picture point of view. So those who were panic, remember, on when it touched the 25K, 26K in month of August, September, so many people got panic. But the point is, now it made new high above 32K. Now it is in 38K range. So that's the thing. So correction is part of the game, and each resistance, not necessarily, but some resistance where I feel that it is in a overbought territory on 1 day time frame. So there is a difference when there is overbought territory or state in 1 week or weekly time frame. Then we are talking about cycle, because we in Bitcoin, weekly is a normal, or I would say from my experience also, weekly is a good time frame to determine the cycles, the phases. So whenever if whenever we say whenever we identify the weekly is overbought, that means we are talking about top, potential top, like in 60K we had top, something like that, right? So that hasn't happened, and so there is no overbought state. So this is another educational stuff, that the correction or overbought state is different for different time frame. So it starts with a lower time frame, like intraday time frame, and then there are correction on intraday, like you see these are corrections or intraday time frame basis. And when you go and analyze at a higher, which is like one day I can call it a medium term, and then 1 week I call as a longer term. Anything lesser than one day is short term. Hmm? Some people call intraday as well. So these are different names, but broadly this is how I see. But so 1 week, 1 week is not overbought. Okay, the strength is still strong. So this has to be cleared. But on 1 day, I see weakness. Having said that, seeing is believing. That means the support has to be broken. So let's say if it closes below 38,100, that's an indication that it is going for correction. And if it breaks the recent low, which I'm considering 36,600 is a recent low, if that is broken, then the chance of hitting the warning level is very high. In fact, in that case, we might see V-shaped correction. Now, what is the first sign? The first sign is now going to be 38,100. And the second one is the 36,600. Okay, then this one is more important. I think 36,600. But if you want to get the early hint, then the recent breakout level is the early hint, because as I explained, sometimes there can be a breakout, but if it doesn't last long, then this becomes the support, immediate support. The breakout level becomes the support. So that means 38,100 becomes the immediate support. And this recent low is technically a strong low. And that's why this is second level, which is critical, in my opinion. Critical in a sense that if it breaks this 36,600, then chance of retesting 33K is very high. And in worst case, it might touch, I'm saying worst case, it might touch 31,000 range. So 31,000 to 33K range is on the table, but with a condition. Okay, remember, don't forget the condition. Don't read or remember only the first half that Mihir was talking about correction and he was drawing the red arrow. Don't remember only that part. Okay, remember the condition that this is the level to be broken, which is 38,100 and 36,600 level. So I must draw this arrow from this level. Otherwise, you will think it is going to start going down from here. So I'm being very careful. So there is no double meaning of what I'm saying, because it's sometimes it's mind, tries to try to interpret what is preferred, and try to interpret something which is not spoken. And I try my level best that there is only one meaning to my statement. The moment there are more than two meanings, that means the statement was inaccurate, right? When I say white color, there's no confusion about what shade I'm talking about. So similarly, that is so explicit, right? When I talk about water, you don't think about any other chemical but water. So there is no double meaning. Water means water, white color means white color, black color means black color, like that. So when I talk about correction with condition, and you cannot drop or miss out the condition, otherwise that will be a biased interpretation, right? So I would like it to emphasize that this correction that I'm talking about is conditional. So if that condition is not met, then we are talking about continuation of this trend, which is on the upside, going for R4. Of course, this is going to be hurdle at 38,500 range. It could be 39,500 to 39,550. That kind of range I see as a challenge, or I would say roadblock. So next resistance, once this is broken, then it goes 40K plus. Okay, so each resistance we have to make sure, but this resistance is a big one. That's why I'm emphasizing more on it. Okay, right now when you look at it, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing, right? But I would like to see how it behaves when it reaches 39,500 and 550 maybe. Yeah, like that. So that's my recent analysis, and that I hope you find very useful, right? So I am trying to make it black and white, clear as possible, no double meaning, because there must be single interpretation, no matter what how you think. There must be single interpretation. Then only it makes sense. Okay. What else should I talk about? So overall everything is fine. Everything is fine. So let me zoom out and show you what I mean is, see, there was a big push and then consolidation and then a drop. This was normal correction. This was kind of abnormal correction. Abnormal in a way. This was deep one, because it actually erased the whole entire gain. So this was no ordinary correction. This was okay. This is okay because this was a huge move, and this is okay. This is, compared to this one, this is consolidation, but in ascending manner. See the difference. This was descending, and this is ascending. But if you pick very careful, if you are very careful, what happened? This was also ascending initially, and then started descending. Once you see this kind of a drop, Then you see it started going down. Let me zoom out, and then probably you will be able to see that it was making higher highs. Yeah, so it was maybe if I draw a line, then you will be able to visualize it in a better way. You see, it was going up, and then this drop changed everything, because if I extend, then there was it tried to break above, but couldn't, and then dropped further. You see, so not only this one, even this was ascending. So let me again drop. This was more like loudspeaker, expanding pattern. You see, and then kind of something like this. So point is, this was up, down, and then up, going up, and then all of a sudden big drop happened. Then this is like attempt to break above. Remember, there was an attempt here to break above. Here there was an attempt to break above, couldn't break above, and then went down. But again, this was not deep enough. So I hope you're getting it. Correction is part of the game, but how deep, that matters a lot here as well. So let me show you. This was the most trickiest one. I mean, probably one of the hardest one that I have seen from a TA point of view. It was expanding in the beginning and a drop. When it was expanding and a big drop, anyone would think, because this was beginning. See, mentally, not everyone was prepared. Not everyone was in. Though we called out this potential bounce, but I'm talking about general people. They were not ready. And when they see this kind of a drop, they would think that it's going to come down again. But then it made a U-turn like this and made new high. But again, so here what happened? Here they were thinking about 12K, 10K. When it went up, they were not ready. And when it went down, then probably they thought, oh, I told you so, right? It's not going to go up. And all of a sudden, after a few days, it went up, and they say, oh wow, man, this is something different. This is going up. They get in, and what happened? Surprise, surprise, surprise. So if this pattern expands in a very dramatic way like this, look at this. This is what it did. This was totally a false breakdown, and then a recovery, and then this was a real breakdown, and went even deeper. So anyone who onboarded here got fooled, because it went down and deep one, and then they think, oh, we are tricked, we are trapped, and then what? They are panic. They panic. The moment they panic, it went up. Look at this. This is the most trickiest one that I have ever seen in recent time. Let me tell you, this is the most trickiest one, because there is, if any indicator that you might have, if any indicator has not given the false breakdown, that indicator is good. If you really want to test indicator, test against this one. Let me tell you, if the indicator is accurate, then that indicator is good. You can try out. Then you will see what I mean. Not just indicator, but even manual TA, this was tough cookie to crack. This was very difficult. Anyways, I knew that this level was not deep enough. Like I said, for 26K level, in fact, we called out bounce from here as well on our platform. So we did really well in this case, and also in 26K. So on most of the occasion when there were major drops, we did well. And also about the potential like all the resistance level. So the main topic here is to explain how the consolidation work, why the supports are important to track, and why the critical supports are important to track once if the supports are broken, like immediate supports are broken, right? And then the question is, what is the critical level for trend? Because the supports, there can be multiple supports, but there will be one support. There will be one support which must not be broken. Like here, this was that support. Which one? 90K, 19K. When it went down here, which was the level? This was the level, 25K. When, if and when it comes 30K, 30K is the level. It must not break 30K level. So what is happening? 19K critical level moved to 25K, 25K level moved to 30K. See, this is how it is making progress. People think about this is the level. Those who are smart and experienced are not tracking highs. Remember, this, at least I cannot talk of, I mean, I cannot tell from a, but those who are interested in trend, they are not tracking this level, which is the current level. They are tracking whether it, in this case, has it broken 19K? No, that means good. When it comes down, has it broken 25K? No, that means good. Here, if in case if it goes down, has it broken 30K? No, that means good. You see the difference of, this is how, it's just a difference in thinking, but that difference make a huge difference. And you know why? Because that person is not doing in and out. That, and there are a lot of things like in the US, if you do in and out, you have to pay taxes as well on your gain. It's not easy. Government takes whatever 20-30% money, you know, a short-term gain. It's not easy. So you have to be very careful about, there's so many basically aspects, so many aspects, and nobody would like to get out unnecessarily. So especially those who are following trend. So I wanted to give you perspective how people who are doing swing trading in a higher time frame, how they think. I'm not suggesting how you should think. So just a disclaimer. There is no way I am going to go any kind of suggestion or consulting or advice. I'm not going to do. I'm going to share what works for me, what worked for me, and what experienced traders are doing. Right. And if you think it makes sense, you can accept it. Otherwise, you can continue the way you're doing. So, because this is education, right? So point is, initially after a major pump, the consolidation happened in ascending followed by drop. So here ascending, drop, then moved up and then drop, moved up and then drop, deeper, moved up and a deeper one, even deeper than that, right? Here there is ascending, but this ascending is much larger. This was like small pieces. This was pretty good. This was smaller, but this is longer. This is longer than this one. Right. And when it happens, nobody's anticipating anything like this. Like here, nobody was anticipating like this or even this. And we should not assume it, as I said. And don't forget the condition. The support condition is extremely important. So when it is going down, nobody can say it is going to hit 25K. Nobody can say that. If somebody is saying that I knew that it's going to, it's just one fluke. It's not, unless you know the future, you cannot, because one has to track the support. If the support is broken, so there would be support here. If the support is broken, say, okay, next is this. If the support is broken, then next is deeper, which is this one, let's say. So this is how thinking works. You cannot say just because this drop it's going to touch 25K. So similarly, even if it drops here, you cannot say it's going to hit 31K. You cannot. You have to see, that these levels are broken one after another. When I say see means, the smart people plan during. So depends on the goal. The goal is not wait for 30K, then they do nothing. The goal is to cash out some money. They reduce and use this support as a ladder, right? And which support they can pick and choose. There are 5 levels. They can pick and choose. So it's not advice. This is like understanding. This is how things work. And it could bounce from any support. Right? Again, that is not known. So no, if any TA is claiming that he knows everything, that he's delusional, first of all. And second, he is making fool of everyone. Simple thing. If that person is really knowing, he would not be doing TA and just printing money. You know what I'm saying? If I really know the future, or any TA knows the future, why the hell I put so much effort in my business? I would just take trade, right? So very logical. It's not. It's just that we know about the levels, and it's a big deal actually, because not everybody can figure out this level accurately, and that's why. So that's a value add. That's a value add thing. Otherwise, nobody knows the future. If somebody knows the future, then there is no future. This is very interesting point. If you say I know the future, that becomes the present. Think about it. We call futures future because it is unknown. The moment if future is known, why would we call future? Because it becomes present. That's how it is. The future is future because it's unknown, or vice versa. It is because it's unknown, it's future. Anyway, so this is good, healthy, but we have to make sure that this supports, as I said, focus on support. Don't focus on resistance. Resistance is just a checkpoint. Okay, I think I said enough on BTC. Let's look at weekly BTC on different time scale. I mean, I would say this is dominance, this one. So this level I have added yesterday night to in line with what I mean. So we had orange level, and now the big one is this. Remember, first of all, this was the important one that was broken about. The orange one was the second that was broken about. Now I just have this one. You may say this was the first leg up, this was the second leg up, and this is the third leg up. Okay, you can say that. So each major move like that, or major resistance like that, we have this one. If this is broken, of course, we can think about 40K plus, or 41K is little. There is one resistance at 41 where we have R4, I think, 41K range. The big one is coming at 48K, the big one, which will be our R5 whenever it reaches. I'll post it when it breaks above 40K. I'll post the R5. I'm not in hurry at this moment. Uh, yeah, so the weekly looks good. I mean, there's no doubt about how it is doing. But when it was here, we were careful. When it was here, we were careful because we had this drop. We were here, we were careful because there was drop. So now we are here. There might be drop, there may not be drop. Who cares, right? Now I just explained, so I won't repeat it. It's just a checkpoint, right? But it's important one. There's nothing more to add on this one because this is moving up nicely. And even if it goes down, as I said, it is just part of the game. So what we have to make sure that what level it breaks, and now you know the level, 30K level, that is the critical one. It must not break that one. This is another layout, different point of view, where this yellow line is indicating resistance. So this is different way of doing it. This is trend line based. As you know that the TA is not just one method but multiple methods. There is no one method. We try to use different methods. This is trend line based, and it is indicating that. And maybe we can draw one more trend line. Or maybe I'll just copy this one, and it will. This is resistance line, my bad. Technically speaking, this is trend line. You can say this is a wedge for now. Don't get scared. Mind tries to read what is not spoken. If you can have a practice of interpreting only the words that I'm speaking when it is about TA, I'm not saying you just listen to me. What I mean is, don't try to interpret what is not said. Just interpret whatever is said, because mind goes beyond what is being said. This is my experience. So just stop there. If I'm saying this is resistance, people think sometime that, oh, resistance is going down. Or the moment I see this is rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. If you Google it, falling wedge is bullish, then this is bearish. And again, then they'll think, oh man, this is bearish, means it's going to be. No, there are these patterns, remember, have success rate from 50% to 70-80%, 70% plus. No pattern has 90% probability, and no pattern is like below 50, means the pattern has some importance. Below 50 means there's no importance, there's means it's unpredictable. But the pattern has important, the probability is between 50 and 75 in my experience. And I think that some of the TA that I read, they're also giving the statistical data in this range. What they do is from their experience, they see when they identify the pattern, and then they see how many times that pattern worked. If the pattern works, let's say 10 out of 7 times, that means the probability of that pattern to be succeeded is 70%, because the success rate is 7 out of 10. See, and if the pattern is not below, let's say 4 out of 10, then what is the meaning? It's totally useless, right? It must be a little above 50 and towards 90. No, there's nothing 90 that I have seen, but anything that is 70 is a big deal to me. So the wedges are 60 kind of range, little above 50. They're a little bit unreliable patterns, in my experience. Right. However, it is more than 50%. So unless it is invalidated, we have to think about it. Okay. Okay. So this is a rising wedge for now. And the rising wedge, you have to consider then, if this is rising wedge, I don't want to scare you. Then if this pattern is realized, remember, be careful about what I'm saying. I mean, don't try to misinterpret. If this pattern is realized, means it's this pattern, if the price follows this pattern, then this correction could be very deep. Not just deep, but that could be end of this retrial. Not trying to scare you. I'm education, because this rising wedge brings down the price way lower, way lower. Okay, below 25K. It's so bad. These patterns are so bad if realizes. Remember, but the statistically they are very much little above average, but not very reliable in a way. I mean, not like 70-80% probability. So this is just a clarification. Okay. But yeah, we have to think about everything. Right. And we think about bearish scenario and bullish scenario, but we give conditions to them. So everybody must remember the conditions as well. Okay. And you know that I don't blindly become bull or bear, because I am not bull or bear. The chart can be bull or bear. There's a difference. When I say this bullish, it's not that I am as a person, as a TA is bullish. When I say I am bullish, I don't use that word first of all. Okay. I don't use that statement first of all. I said the chart is bullish. I always say it because it's about the chart. It's not about a person, because the moment person starts interpreting or accepting, that means the person is biased. Once you become biased towards something, you cannot change your side easily. There is a lag if you have to change. I'll give you a simple analogy from our daily life. Assume that, let's say I'm a bad guy. You know that I'm a bad guy. Let's say, I'm just purposefully saying that. Now I do something good. You're not going to accept I'm really changing. That I'm, because you know that human can change, right? Bad to good and good to bad, whatever. So, but if your perception about me is bad, but let's say I start doing good, you're not going to accept me as a good guy. Why? Because you have that image of bad guy. That image change takes time. I must continue doing good, 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 good. It is possible that even though no matter what I do, you have firm image, you may not do. Some people may change it, but it takes time. That's the lag I'm talking about. What happens when I become bad to good? Internally, I have become good, but your perception is still calling me bad. See, this is you'll understand what I'm saying because this is from our daily life. Similarly, if a person is good and he starts doing something bad, you give a chance. Say, oh, it's a one-off thing. Second thing, third thing, fourth thing. Sometimes people think he's still good. Some people are, um, making him something wrong, and but the person is really bad, turned bad. So this happens when you have firm perception about an image of someone or something, and that's why there is lag. You don't recognize the change, and that's what happens in trading as well. When you see the when you say I am bullish, if it is getting baddish, it takes time, and when it takes time, you lose the opportunity to save your property. That's why when you interpret, always interpret the chart. Don't try to say I am bullish or I am bearish. I know it's not easy, and I can do it. I can say for sure. uh, and if you can do, it will make huge difference, huge difference. Not only that, as I said, the same approach in life also made a huge difference in me, totally. When I say person, I never say person X is good or person X, Y is bad. I always say, I always comment on an action, not a person. That's my point of view. And the same thing is helping here as well. So if the chart is not doing well, I recognize that it's not doing well, but then I say, okay, how bad it is with respect to the support, and that gives me the answer. So it's very easy for me because I have no image that this is good or bad. I throw out coin from a list if they are not doing well. I don't care. As I said, I wanted to throw out Ethereum because there was something better than, because the idea is to make money. If why to have something which I like or something. That's my perspective. Of course I didn't throw out Ethereum or Doge or some Filecoin, but the point is, uh, there's just a point I'm trying to make is I have no attachment to any coin. The list that you see is purely uh, based on TA and the reasoning I share. There's absolutely no attachment to these coins. Okay, so I think this is clear. Let's look at some reference data. The bond yields have come written to the prior resistance, which is now support zone. If it breaks below, then it's good news. If it goes above, bad news for crypto. Uh, Again, bounce is not a problem because it's part of the game. Breaking above this level or reaching this level would be a bad sign. Okay, so we can say unless and until the bond yields closes below this and starts moving towards support. Personally, I'm not thinking about BTC all-time high. Remember, there is a difference. I'm saying strong. BTC is strong. BTC is not showing weakness. But if you ask me, are you thinking about all-time high? The answer is no. There is no conflict. There's no conflict. For example, let me give you an analogy. Let's say I'm doing good business, I'm earning good money. Then there is no way to say that he's not earning enough. He's earning well. But but the question is he a billionaire? Answer is no. Can he be a billionaire? Possibly yes. Is he a billionaire? Answer is no. See, so there is no contradiction. I'm making good money. So if let's say And then if I continue making money, then I can be a billionaire, let's say. But if you ask me, are you a billionaire? I can say I am not, but I can be. So similarly, I can say that Bitcoin is doing amazingly well, but is it in a position right now? It can break above all-time high. Of course, it can. But right now, I am not going to take that stand. And I'll tell you when I'll take the stand. Okay, I'll tell you. But not on 38K level. I'm not going to say, and again, clarification. It's not that I'm doubting, because again, I always think about that you will read something or interpret something which I have not spoken, because I know how the mind works. It's universal. If I'm saying I'm not thinking of all-time high, that means some people might think that I'm still thinking it might make new low. No, that's not what I mean. I personally don't believe in long distance or long. I may have levels. I have levels in 6 digit. You won't believe it. You will come to know. I have levels in 6 digit. It's prepared. The plan is ready. The analysis is done, but the probability is not high. And the probability of new low is even lower. See the difference. The probability of all time is higher than the probability of new low. So I just to make it clear. Okay. So the weightage of about moving towards, but if you ask me with a high probability, I would say no, not yet. I want more height. I want more height, greater height for me to say now it is going to make new all-time high. So I hope I'm able to clarify. There's no way I'm saying new low at this moment. Okay. So the weightage is more between all new all-time high compared to new low. But at this stage, I'm not going to talk about new all-time high. So there is a difference. I hope you understand now. Okay. So and why? If you ask me why? Because bond yields have not broken their uptrend. That's why. DXY has not broken its uptrend. That's why, and we're going to see DXY as well. So this is the bond yields. Now, why bond yields are very important? Because it reflects the potential fund rate, central bank's rate in the US. I'm talking about US, and it's a very important market, as you know. Powell's speech can move the market. He's the real mover of the market, not the influencer on crypto. Powell, Jerome Powell is the guy who moves the market. He has been moving the market, remember. Why? Because everything is interest rate sensitive. From a big picture point of view, it's interest rate sensitive. That's a macroeconomical factor that must be considered, because they are the one who creates the cycles, remember. Anyway, so coming back to my point, the reason why I'm not talking BTC all-time high, because this guy has not broken the trend. That's why. It has to break this support for us to talk about all-time high. Otherwise, it's premature. Right? Now, if it is going down, if it continues to go down and continues to break below, breaks below eventually, then of course. So see, I have my reasoning, and I explain the reasoning, because these bond yields are very important, because they started moving in when? They started moving up when? In July, in mid 2020, when the Fed started raising interest rate or announced. They announced in December 2021. When was December 2021? This one. This one. So the the bond market started moving up a year before that, a year and a half before that. They're so smart. They're so smart. They knew what is coming, because the inflation in reality started from 2020 post COVID, because we could see in the market how the price were going up. The Fed was sleeping. That was the problem. And they created the mess by raising the interest rate. The point is, the impact of their mess will be realized after 6-9 months, because there is a lag. Okay, there's lag. And you know what I learned why there is lag? because in 2020 the interest rates were near zero. Any businesses who those who have taken loans, their interest rates were near zero, the short-term loans, and most of them are short-term loans. And when the loans and when they need more loans, they have to buy at 5-6% or like 4 to 5%, and that is so expensive. That's why the impact is realized after a few months of. So whatever loan they had, cash flow from the credit, it is good, but that whatever, we don't know about their books, but this is what I learned, that if they need to raise capital, then they need cash, I mean credit at a higher they'll have to go for a higher rate credit. That means it's going to hurt their cash flow, I mean ultimately profitability, not cash flow but profitability. And if the profitability is hit, right, then it's going to be, I mean basically stock is going to adjust to their profitability, right, because they will see what might be the cash flow in the future. So you see there is a lag. I hope I'm able to explain it. So that's why whatever Fed or central banks have done, the real impact will be realized little later. Okay, not now. So we are not out of the woods, folks, not yet. Technically speaking, it is moving and progressing, remember. So again, when don't get scared, okay, because you have the understanding, knowledge, and I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just sharing the facts and sharing my TA to give you additional information, right? And if somebody says that 10-year yields are now going to sink, that person is foolish, simply foolish. When you see this one with this connection, you don't have to be TA. It's common sense. This tiny correction is not going to tell that this trend that has started going up is going to get over. I hope you are with me on this. And that's why we have to be watchful, not panic. There's difference, and just enjoy as long as it lasts, right? That's why I'm not thinking about all-time high. It's not that I'm pessimistic, because of the data that are driving BTC that are not weak yet. So I hope I'm able to explain the reasoning. Yeah, everybody has different reasoning. This is my reasoning. Let's look at DXY, dollar index, US dollar index. So the US dollar index had amazing bull run, and then correction. I call this consolidation, and then I call a breakout, and then it rejected when last resistance. If it would have continued, then it would have gone to the previous all-time high, and BTC would not have chance to bounce in October. Remember, because we know that how it suffered when the DXY was going up. We know that, right? The pain. And then, so if this retracement, as you could see, let me zoom in. See, it landed on this channel where the consolidation happened. This is throwback. You can Google it. This is throwback. This is breakout. This is a huge throwback. Now it is bouncing. I'm not kidding. I mean, this is serious thing. There's no need to be panic, as I said, but this is serious thing. How can someone ignore that? No way we can ignore. This is a support. Yes, if this support is broken, if DXY closes below this support, which is around 102, let's say, if it closes below 102 on a weekly, then we can say we're good, because then it could continue going down below 100, and that will be the acceleration for BTC for the all-time high. So if this is not broken, this channel was the consolidation channel, and this was a breakout level, and this is a retest. Retest means it's come to the same level and then tries to bounce off. But sometimes it doesn't bounce off and fails. So we have to see, if it fails, then we are talking about BTC all-time high. If it starts recovering and going towards this one, it's not going to based on my experience, and I mean, not just experience, but the data are in front of us, we know that how dollar index trend is important. I'm not talking about 1 day movement, 2 day movement. That's not how it works. It is not about daily movement of DXY. It is about the trend and the key levels. So this is the key level, 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 which is a breakout level, this is the key level, which was the point of rejection, and this is a key level. You see, the focus is not in between. The focus is always on the key level. This is how the tracking has to be done. Some people do it wrongly. They try to interpret, hey, DXY is up, means BTC is down. Hey, DXY is down, BTC is up. That's not how it works, because there's also lag in it. Think about it. The algorithm adjusts to it. So if there is bounce, algorithm is not going to change any strategy, because this bounce is because there is support, there is bounce. But the bounce has to be turned into reversal or gain certain height. Let's say 106 plus, let's say, then there is a probability of breaking this one as well. Then the algorithm will go mad. BTC algorithm will go mad, and then because it will realize that this is no joke, something wrong. Yeah. So I hope I'm making sense here, technically speaking. And of course, the inflation data every month are important. Most important data are inflation data. There's nothing more important than just keep an eye on inflation, US inflation, not other, because that matters a lot. US inflation CPI numbers, that is the utmost important data point. Okay, because everything is driven out of that. Anyways, of course, the job market is secondary, but the number one is inflation data. Having said that, let's look at BTC dominance. This is still going up as I indicated last time, right? So BTC is still very strong compared to larger set of alts, but you know that we have quality alts in this list, and most of them are doing well. All of them are doing well actually, but compared to BTC, most of them, not all, but so many. So that's a good thing, right? What else? Yeah, that's it for part one. So I believe, NASDAQ, I'll just have a quick look at NASDAQ. Maybe NASDAQ has broken out, but this is resistance. So let me draw this. Yesterday I was analyzing and I realized this is resistance. This is resistance. Maybe I'll make it a little round number. This was perfect resistance. There's no sign of correction, but remember, we don't know how the next week unfolds. This is resistance. So this might retest. Who knows? So this is not out of the woods again. This was a resistance. I had identified this one. This is another one. I think once it breaks about this one, then it's good. Anyway, I'm not trying to analyze NASDAQ. What I'm trying to highlight is very different point. Scope is not to highlight and analyze NASDAQ, because that's not what we do on our platform, right? I just wanted to show that bond yields are on support, DXY dollar index is on support, NASDAQ is on resistance, Bitcoin is on resistance. You see what I'm trying to say. They are related data and they are on their key levels. And that's why I'm emphasizing this. I'm saying this for a reason. There's a confluence of all these data point with respect to their key levels. That's why. So I hope you find this analysis helpful, right? Yeah, that's it. And ask me question. But as I said, don't try to try to interpret as it is said. Okay, no reading between the lines, please. Very important. Okay, but feel free to ask me. Thanks. So we'll end the part one here and start with part two.